Alright guys, so today I'm going to talk about basic structures and how to edit them. So the very first part of this is going to be basics placement of these types of structures, including anything from walls, roofs, floors, and ramps. And then there's going to be a section about editing and all the different kinds of edits per building, as well as I will also show a demonstration of how to use them effectively in combat or what scenarios they could be helpful in. So I'm going to divide it into 3 different pieces. You can go to the respective timestamps for them. I will put them under the description, as well as I will put annotations in the video to make sure that you guys can just click and go to whatever section you want in case you already know some of these things. Alright, so let's get started, shall we? Alright, so we're going to cover the very basic stuff. So you got your walls. These obviously protect you about direct fire. You have your ramps, which you use to increase your height. You have your floors, which can also double as basically a top roof, right? And then lastly, you have your roofs. Alright, so you may be wondering, so what am I supposed to do with all these kinds of things? So the basic gist of a wall and a ramp is if you're pushing someone or if someone's like starting to shoot you, you want to usually try and build a wall, build a ramp like that, and that way you can have a little bit of upper level and be able to know where they are and defend yourself as well, right? Now there's a tip that's very important and you should keep it in mind. If you leave the structure pressed down, like you leave your click down, if they destroy it, it will automatically rebuild like that without having to click the mouse again. And also you can do this little neat thing, cover all your sides, but we'll get that into more advanced techniques regarding that later, even the beginner kind. Alright, now roofs, they're literally just that, the roofs. You can use them to cover your top part, and you can use it in combination with stuff like walls and things of that nature, right? And also you can have this as well. You can be inside of it. There's nothing wrong with that. You can also double layer by putting a floor, which doubles as a secondary roof for extra protection. Ramps can also double as extra protection for when someone's shooting directly in front of you. Like you place a wall, as you can see over there, and you place a ramp right here. So as you can see, using all these kinds of things in a combination basically gives you something that we just call a box. Like you literally box yourself in like that, and that protects you. And theoretically, right, it protects you against fire from all sides. So if they're shooting like from the left side, whatever side, you know, top of you, you're basically protected, and you can just rebuild by leaving your mouse button, as I mentioned earlier. That's called the auto build feature. Alright, so now for the editing section. Let's get into the editing section. This is a very basic. We're gonna start with the wall. Alright, so we have our little wall here, and there's multiple types of edits you can do. There's single tile edits, which will give you this nice little window so you can see it. And you can do them on different sides. You can do them on all 3 sides. So you can do it on the left side, right side, and middle, right? Alright, so continue on with the wall edit. What you can do as well is you can do little triangles to be able to move through this wall, and that's usually helpful with the box technique, as we mentioned earlier. So like I can escape my box like that. Move in, move out. You can also do 4 tiles in whatever direction. So like right side, you do that. Left side, you can do that as well and escape. Most people usually do 3 tiles because it's just faster, right? It's faster to have to move in 3 directions at once instead of having to do the entire circle. What you can also do is an archway. That's not that common, but there's a certain technique that people use it for in order to jump pad. I can explain that later in the advanced section of a different video. But the basic gist of it is you do that. So you do 3 tiles on the bottom, 1 in the middle, and you get a nice little archway. And it's also like a path you can cross. Oh yeah, and you can also do doors in all 3 directions. So you can do it like that, and you get a door to open. You can do it through the middle. You can do it through the side. So as long as you're editing 2 squares, that's what you're gonna get, a door. Which is the reason why most people just do the triangle, because it's faster. Alright, so moving on to floors. As you can see, it's literally only 4 tiles. So all the edits are as simple as you can imagine. 1 tile, you open a little path here to fall in, fall out, right? You got 2 tiles, it opens a slightly larger path, and that's usually what people use for shooting when they edit and they take a shot at someone who's trapped in a box. And then you have your 3 tiles, which is basically just a more, hold on. It's basically you open the entire thing essentially. That is not usually used, but it's still important to know all the kinds of different edits that you can do with just the little floor part of it. Alright, so roofs. Roofs are as simple as they can get. There's all different kinds of edits. The most common one is when you're trapped in a box, you edit a single tile, and it'll do like an archway or like a little triangle towards the direction in which you edited it. So like if you press it this way, you can see it lifts up, right? And it gives you a preview as to how the structure is going to be. So it's going to move towards that direction. Same thing for that. See? It just keeps switching directions. There's 2 tiles on a single side, which is basically a pseudo ramp. It literally does the same function as a ramp. It gives you a little bit of higher up on the other players. Now the triple one, which you do 3 tiles edit, it's not that commonly used. There's no real... I haven't really seen it be used that often. It's not that great of a, that great of a build to use anyways, or we'll edit. And last but not least, we have the 4, which is nothing, because remember, you can't edit all the tiles out. And finally, we have stairs. This one is a little trickier. It's much harder to grasp than the other edits because of the way the functionality works. So don't worry if it takes you multiple tries to get these kinds of edits right, because sometimes they can be very, very confusing, at least when you're barely starting. Alright, so the way the ramp editing works is, you see those little lines there, those little arrows? So if you move the arrow to a different direction, say that way, the ramp will rotate to the right side. You edit it again, you move them down, the ramp will rotate towards this direction, and so on and so forth. You don't have to directly hit the arrows, you can hit the part of them, like the other part of this, one of the 4 little cubes here. So like if I hit that, it rotates the ramp that way. If I hit that again, it rotates the ramp this way. Alright. Now there's more than one type of edit for ramps. It's not just directional. You can also you can cut off a certain part of it in order to basically move through it essentially. Alright, so if we do this, keep in mind that when you keep it pressed, for ramps specifically, it doesn't automatically white it out, as you can see. So when you're moving, you have to leave the edit part held out. So like that. So the way this works is, whatever part you're editing towards, you see the little blue light, that's where the ramp will end up positioning wise. So if I edit on this right side, it will go there. Edit on the left side, it will go like that. There's another small technique that isn't often used, but it can come in handy in rare situations, which is you do a full-on spin like that. And what that does is it lets you go in this way and it reverses the ramp in this direction. It basically provides a small staircase. And then there's another one, which is a directional one to the left or to the right. You can do either, which essentially serves as a functionality of using 1 ramp for 2 ramps. But that's not often used. Most of the time, people don't bother doing it. But just to showcase it, you can also do it on the left side. See? So we have left side, right side. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. See? So you go like that, you make a little L sign. Because that's what you're about to take if you do that technique. No, I'm just kidding. Now, before we move on to the battle applications, all these kinds of editings and basic builds, we need to make sure that we remark one last little point. So just remember that when you're doing the edit, you have to slide and you have to keep it pressed. It's not like the wall where you can see here, it'll keep the gray part even if you let go. So just keep that in mind, guys, and don't forget it, because then you'll be surprised and it's like, oh, why can't I edit? And well, it's because you're not holding it down properly. And also make sure to pay attention to the direction of the arrows, because it indicates where the ramp is going. Once you have enough muscle memory for that, you won't have to worry about it. But for now, at the very start, you need to pay close attention to where you're rotating it. That way you don't end up in a bad situation where let's say I'm here, and you rotate it this way, or this way, and then you fall off to the side. Hold on. Yeah, okay. So if you're on the upper part, Like you fall down to this side and someone can just get high ground on you like that. So that is the end of part 1, guys. Make sure to check out part 2, which covers some basic techniques that you can use in combat using these editing and build techniques. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a great time. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content as well. Thank you.